15 megawatts of electricity. By the end of August 2024, the project has reached 98.9% of its implementation. This is the powerhouse, where 9 turbines, each with a capacity of generating 235 megawatts, are being installed. Currently, 3 turbines have already started generating electricity, contributing to a total of 705 megawatts to the national grid. This has significantly alleviated the country's power rationing challenges. The project consists of 8 main sections. First, main dam, where water is stored to drive the turbines, power waterways, channels that direct water to the turbines, and powerhouse, where electricity is generated by the turbines. Other key components include switchyard for receiving and transmitting electricity, permanent roads and bridge, saddle dams, and operational village, where the project staff reside. The government of Tanzania continues to oversee the project's progress to ensure the country achieves reliable and sufficient electricity supply.
TANESCO, tunayangaza maisha yako.
The Julius Nyerere Hydropower Project is a $3.6 billion mega project funded and implemented by the government of Tanzania. Located in Rufiji, the project is scheduled for completion by the end of this year. The construction began in 2018, and once fully operational, it will generate 2,115 megawatts of electricity. By the end of August 2024, the project has reached 98.9% of its implementation. This is the powerhouse, where 9 turbines, each with a capacity of generating 235 megawatts, are being installed. Currently,
Good afternoon. We just want to start, so I'm requesting everyone to come in front so that we can start. Let's fill up these front seats so that we can start. We need to fill in this front seat at the middle, at least. Please come forward. The ministers are waiting. If you can just... We are behind schedule. I would like, just come. Please, come in front so that we can start. We are behind the schedule. Mayala, please. Let's come.
Good afternoon. Could you please just come, forward, who are sitting behind? It will be good, just to hear from each other and for a discussion, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, Permanent Secretary, Representative from African Union and all, we are now starting the ministerial roundtable discussions, particularly to see and change, the best practices and experiences, what's happening in our region, and particularly how we can align our, development plan, particularly when it comes to energy, renewable energy in the context of just energy transition, and bringing also the geothermal development, which is aligned to the just energy transition, and also in the context of the green economy and socio-economic lane, specifically in creating jobs, empowering of youth. That's, I think, the most important thing in all countries that we have. And we are sure you have received actually the key point or discussions, particularly, the context. And basically, the African Union and also UNEP are the ones, and also here from the host country, to steer these discussions. So before going to that, I think those of you maybe who have not been in the opening would appreciate maybe if you introduce yourself, Your Excellencies, and people can really interact very easily. Do we have a mic, please? Hello? Do we have a mic there? Does it work, Your Excellency?
Yes.
Very good. So, Your Excellency, could you please introduce yourself and just give, thank you very much.
Yeah, I will start by introducing myself. My name is Opio Wandai, the Cabinet Secretary for Energy and Petroleum in the government of the Republic of Kenya. I'm pleased to be here to participate in this very important discussion concerning just transition of energy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Mwangi, working for the African Union Commission based in Addis Ababa. I'm a project manager for a project called the Geothermal Risk Mitigation Facility, and I'm pleased to participate in this panel discussion whereby I talk more and inform you about the Geothermal Risk Mitigation Facility. Thank you.
Thank you. We have representative from African Union here because all of us, as we know, though we are really focusing in the global development agenda on the SDGs, but we also really try to harmonize it with the aspiration of the African Union Agenda 2063. So the Department of Infrastructure and Energy in African Union is in charge of actually developing, helping member states in strategy and aligning it with sustainable development goals. So they will give us some context, how to bring it in the our region energy development plan as electricity and also energy using as a productive use. Okay, please.
Yeah, my name is Felches Mimbramba, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Energy in Tanzania.
Thank you. Could you please, come forward, seat? We have a seat here. Please. Hello? This is a dialogue, interactive session. Of course, our excellencies and honorables, they will share their experience in their countries. So you will have, that this is like a ministerial or decision makers roundtable where there will be a dialogue. So please, come forward and you can really hear all the strategy and the vision that we have as a continent and as a region and as a country as well. Please, Your Excellency.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Ahmad El-Badawi Mohammed, Ambassador of the Union of Comoros in Tanzania, and I represent the Ministry of Energy of Comoros.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Porondari Honyoe, Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Hydraulic, Energy and the Mines in the Republic of Burundi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Antonio Manda. I'm Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, Mozambique.
Thank you very much. So you can see again with different geographical location we have here from East African community mostly, and also we have SADC, we have Comoros, and also we have actually Mozambique, and Burundi is actually in between East Africa community. Tanzania is both SADC and EAC, so I think this is really a very good combination. So I think the background information that we really heard this morning from the minister, from our vice president, and from permanent secretaries in the context of energy is actually that we are really very much behind. It's underdeveloped. We recognize that we are 13% of the global population, but our access to electricity is less than 30%. And also, I think most of our, countries are using more than 70% are using traditional biomass fuels for cooking and other relevant purposes. So, but we are now in this industrial era where we need a lot of energy, actually not only as electricity, but as manufacturing and also driving the socio-economic aspects. And also, as you know, nowadays we are just talking about going the low carbon resource efficiency and also climate resilient energy systems. I think there is a lot of, discussion which is underway about the use of, critical or, critical energy transition minerals, where our continent is heavily endowed with that, and we can add value in also transferring and also extending the use of renewable energy at a relatively lower cost. So these things are also there. So how can we really see we use our energy to drive our socio-economic aspects, and particularly to really contribute to unemployment? We have more than 65–70% of our population is young, youth, dynamic, but they don't have job. So how can we really create green jobs by going to just energy transition? As you saw, the energy transition is now, of course, decarbonization, but the just is now we have to really get, employees, the small-scale industries, the SMEs and others have to be really created, and we can get actually, involvement of all the youth and women communities. In that context, I think we have, here our Excellency, the Minister for Energy in Kenya. Of course, Kenya is one of the leading countries in the world using renewable energy. If I'm not mistaken, almost 92% is renewable energy. So I think all Africans are really proud about that. So what is the secret of, doing that? For them, geothermal is a game changer, and they are still using also hydropower and others. So we really want to hear your strategic focus areas in this context of just energy transition, and its relevance to geothermal development, particularly in respective to your country, both power generation and or direct use applications. Your Excellency.
Let me start by, of course, acknowledging the fact that Kenya is fairly advanced in terms of the use of geothermal energy resource in the continent. But we have a fairly rich mix in our energy platform. Because apart from geothermal, we also have hydro energy. We have solar, to a small extent, wind power, okay? And also a small bit, which is still thermal, about 9%. Because as a country, we are effective 91% green, which is no mean achievement. But having said that, you would therefore ask yourself why the push for more geothermal when we are almost 100%. The fact is that even though we could easily bridge that gap of 9% by employing more solar and wind, which is cheaper to establish, we must acknowledge the fact that geothermal energy is more stable. It's more stable and therefore constitutes the base load. And therefore, as a strategic move, we want to focus more on expanding the geothermal production to not only bridge this gap, but also to expand our base load from a more stable source to reduce more and more the usage of the intermittent sources, that is solar and wind. But again, having said that, if you look at it from a global context, that is Africa generally, you know, this push is good. The just transition is important. But again, even though we want to align, all the countries in Africa, I believe, would want to align their strategies with the Global Sustainable Development Goals, the African Union Agenda 2063, and in fact, the Paris Agreement for 2015. It is important to reiterate the fact that the speed and form of that just transition should be informed first and foremost by the public interest. It should be in the best interest of the people. So public interest should actually inform the nature, form, and speed of that transition. So that is something that needs to be underscored. But otherwise, from our perspective as Kenya, I think geothermal is the way to go. And those countries such as Tanzania, I'm happy to learn today, that are blessed with this very rare resource, should actually be encouraged and supported, yes, to go more geothermal. As a country, Kenya is now well developed in terms of capacity in geothermal space. And we are more than ready and willing to lend our support, both technically and otherwise, to our brothers and sisters on the continent in terms of adoption of this very important technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think that is really a good start, you know, just to really see and mix it with the other areas. I think, Honorable Permanent Secretary from Tanzania, I think you have heard that what's happening in Kenya. And now, you know, one of the things what we see is the political will is very important. I think all of us, we are here witness that Tanzania is really committed and ready to use its indigenous resource geothermal as power generation and direct use as well. So what are your strategic you know, areas in order to do this? And of course, we are not using geothermal by itself. Geothermal is a good base load. And Tanzania has really a good hydro, you know, power. But due to this climate fluctuation, we cannot rely 100% with hydro. We need a base load. So what are your strategic focus in these areas and actually learning from your brothers, next door. Over to you, your Honorable Permanent Secretary.
Thank you so much, Chair. First of all, as you correctly said, Tanzania is one of the countries which are endowed with huge potentials in terms of energy resources. You talk of resources like hydro, natural gas, solar, wind, and then geothermal. Right now, the installed capacity in the country is around 4,000 megawatts, while the demand is, maximum demand may be around 2,000 megawatts. And so we are going to have significant surplus, even after taking into account the demand factor. But also we are developing other sources. For example, right now the contractor is at site constructing a 150 megawatt solar plant. But we have private sector who are also doing around 300 megawatts of solar and wind. Without forgetting the huge natural resources which are also available. Natural gas is right now contributing close to 1,200 megawatts. So we could do without geothermal. As my colleague from Kenya is saying, we could do without geothermal. But when we look into the future, we think geothermal is a very important resource for the future. When we talk of just transition, geothermal is a very reliable renewable energy, which, as my colleague from Kenya said, can be used as base load. And therefore, going forward, together with all other resources which we have now, we are very committed to developing geothermal. Our strategy is, number one, to continue identifying sites with the geothermal resources and inviting private sector to participate in development. But also for the government, we will continue investing on exploration and all other initial works on developing the resource. And once we have that initial development, then we will work with the private sector for the private sector to participate in power generation. That is the way we are doing it here.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I'll come back to you later. And now I think Comoros is also, of course, relatively, I think, has lower population, but has actually, a power shortage. And of course, endowed with geothermal resources and solar and wind. Now, hearing from that, from having all these diversified renewable energy resources, what is the strategic focus now to go for geothermal beyond surface exploration? Because we know that it has been New Zealand and other, of course, the African Union Commission also has really provided this geothermal risk mitigation facility and others. So what are the plans now in the country really to get, the access to electricity and also energy actually for productive users? Over to you, Your Excellency, please.
Thank you very much. The Comoro is also on the transition for the energy. And Comoro, like island, we have volcano with the crater is the biggest of the world, unfortunately. So we are focused to work inside, to use the volcano and have more energy for all 4 islands, Anjouan, Mayotte, Moweli, and Ngazija, and possibility to bring out, why not? It depends for the capacity. But we have many challenges which we would like to develop the regional cooperation. Kenya, Tanzania, our neighbor, Mozambique, or others, for the building capacity in the university, or others, or the technology, because sincerely it's the first point which we have to put the hand to take over on the transition energy just on our country. Second, we would like also in transitor to use the solar, which is using every time. 6 months we can have solar and 6 months running. So the capacity to stock the voltage in and using it will be fuel. But also later and later we can use the sea, because Comoro Island, we have the sea everywhere. But is now the strategy currently, the strategy now is the volcano. We hope that regional cooperation between our neighbors will be the good and the successful result which we want to begin with them soon, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ambassador. Indeed, one of the things what we should really keep in mind, it is true, the country is blessed with its volcanic or other, geomorphological situation, but it really requires a very holistic kind of, integrated geoscientific studies, particularly to locate target areas and get that steam. And I'm sure, I think the government is committed, ready, have been assisted by New Zealand, by African Union, and I'm not sure, maybe Kenyan also have been assisting Comoros, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that is also to really be seen. But Your Excellency, Ambassador, what are, your current use of energy resources in Comoros? Is it fuel? You are using that. Yeah, the challenges, and Comoros has signed the Paris Agreement on climate action. Is that the case? Yeah. So, these are the things that we have to really see, not at country level, but at regional level. Because most of the African countries signed a Paris Agreement on climate action, where you need to provide now the national determined contribution, where you are really in which sector you are really reducing emissions and aligning it to your national development plan, I think we heard. So these are the kind of things that we see. We see it at a country, but we have now this regional dialogue. How can we really resolve such kind of issues when we are going to that? For example, now Mozambique is a really a main country with natural gas, endowed with that, and still we have the Paris Agreement and all others that you pledge. So the PS, please, could you please tell us about Mozambique? It is, in the Energy Development Plan, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, you also export energy to South Africa. So could you please just tell us how, as the context is, that we can really align it to the next step? Over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Asante sana. Wakati wengine nitaongea na Kiswahili, sinaongea, tajaribu kuongea na Kiingereza. Thank you very much. Mozambique, in terms of energy potential, we are champion in Southern Africa. In Southern Africa, we have 19,000 megawatts potential of hydro. In terms of hydro, installed capacity of hydro today is 2,150. Because of Cabora Bassa we are producing 2,075, and the other small hydros, them all together to combine, we get 2,240. That's only hydro. And then we have gas. Today we have capacity of 442 megawatts gas. But the next year, the first quarter, it will be on the operation one big one, Stemane plant. That one will be 450 megawatts. It will start next year. We have all wind. Wind today is 75 megawatts. As you said, we have a very huge reserve of gas, proven reserve. Today is 18 trillion cubic feet, TCF. And we are already started to export LNG to the world because, as you know, gas will be transition energy. We need to use gas. It's still clean. That's why it's better to use gas than coal for the energy transition. That's why we're helping other countries for energy transition, exporting LNG around to the world. Also, next year, I think we'll start construction of Mpandankua hydropower station. That will be 1,500 megawatts hydro at the Zambezi River, and the financial close is very near of door, very close to financial close. That's a big project, and we already have development partner, big ones. That's why we hope that next year we start construction on this in Mpandankua hydropower project. Mozambique is net exporter of energy. We are exporting energy to South Africa, as you said. Not all South Africa, but Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, now DRC, Swaziland, Eswatini, all SADC, all Southern African countries that are receiving electricity from Mozambique. Our energy matrix is very clean. We are not using coal, but we have 25 billion tons of coal, but we are not using coal, and we don't have any project using coal. We are exporting to the other countries, mainly India, Indonesia, and China, because they have still have coal power plants. But I know we need all cash to build a clean plant. For the geothermal, unfortunately, we don't have any power plant. That's why we came to learn. And to learn into partnership. I know that Kenya is champion, and they have to find a way to cooperate with Kenya and Tanzania. Tanzania is neighbor. And this time, really, we came to learn. And our potential, I think it's too huge, but today we did some atlas of energy, renewable energies, some small studies. That said we have 200 megawatts, but I think we have more because we need to do many studies in terms of geological, geophysical, geochemical next years. I think from that and we'll have a real reservoir of all potential of geothermal. But today we're saying we have 200 megawatts. We can develop immediately. We can 20 megawatts at the Nyasa Lake, Nyasa province and Tete province. But because of those big projects, as I said, we are very busy with those projects. But from Kenya experience and Tanzania experience in the other countries, I think we have to start at least one geothermal power project. That is the situation that I can briefly give you from Mozambique. Oh, thank you.
It is good to know that Mozambique has diversified energy resources, and including natural gas, hydro, and others. But I think maybe will come back again, as His Excellency, the Minister of Kenya, that said that the just energy transition should be led, just as by country, and also on continental or regional basis in the agreement. Maybe we'll get back to that. So, and you mentioned that you have a huge coal deposits. Do you have a plan to use it? Yeah. That's really a very good sign from that, because one of the things that we are really focusing is to really go to decarbonization, but also the digitalization and decentralization maybe will come later. One of the major things what we have in Africa is if we have the energy resources, but that's the transmission, the energy efficiency that we are really losing by poor transmitting line. So probably having, a decentralized, plant specifically for various communities which in rural areas that has not yet reached could be one of the solutions. But as we mentioned, UNEP was there in Ganda, in Chongwene, to really see, how we can help in the case of, solar panels and bringing the women, community empowerment and others. So now let's hear from Burundi, which is very close to Rwanda. Unfortunately, we don't have a representative from Rwanda. So, and what are the strategic focus on your energy utilization and still, balancing the demand and supply in Burundi? Over to you, please.
Thank you, Chair. In Burundi, we are using domain energy from hydropower, and the second is solar energy, and then few quantity from thermic energy. And now in total, we have available of energy about 124 megawatt. And the country is still developing hydropower energy, but also it is looking for solar energy. And we have also opportunity to develop a peat energy for mineral transformation, but also with geothermal energy. We have conducted many studies and available reports shown that we have some sites with geothermal indices, and the temperature for visited sites are between 40 and 68 Celsius degree, but also that is the surface temperature. If we can go underground, the temperature could reach 100 to 120 Celsius degrees. And now on the law or legislation on geothermal energy is in common law with mining law. We have not a specific geothermal law or regulation text, but is inside with the mining law. And also with these available reports, we have some recommendation for ongoing activity that Burundi, if we could have investors or by bilateral cooperation, we could go in order to detail the geological map and see if we could have, we could plan for drilling, and after drilling, we could see if in Burundi we can use geothermal energy as well as using hydropower energy. And now the government of Burundi is also looking how to could extract some minerals in geothermal sources, such as lithium, but also it is a prospecting activity. I think after we could know other related minerals in geothermal sources. Now, as we are here, because those reports I'm talking about have been conducted via the cooperation, especially from Iceland, I think that if we could have another opportunity for further geothermal energy development, you are welcome. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I think it is good to really know that Burundi is also really looking at the geothermal energy resource as one of alternative energy resources, and maybe for power generation. But one of the things that what we really see, as you know, and maybe you have heard from the communication we have, you know, geothermal has a diversified use. One is for power generation that have, you know, a different kind of resource, a volcanic hosted resource, like in Kenya, Ethiopia, you know, along the East Africa Rift System. And then we have also part of the East Africa Rift System, but the western branch, they do have relatively low to medium temperature, but they are very useful, particularly for direct use application. That is what even the ARGeo, I think since 2017, this program was really focusing and encouraging countries to go for direct use applications. it is just a source of heat next to communities there, and they can use it for different purposes. So it is good also to look at from that angle. It's a low-hanging fruit and also can contribute significantly to the socio-economic development. Instead of also using diesel and others, you can use geothermal for versatile purposes. So I think we can see here, particularly Mozambique and Burundi and partly Comoros. Of course, it is volcanic hosted, but really to be seen from the regional perspective and just to really can go differently. Before now I come to you, let's hear from African Union. Now, as you all know, the African Union Commission under its Department of Infrastructure and Energy, closely working with all ministers. I think most of them, they are, the Secretariat you are, and the STC, and you are really focusing, particularly nowadays, the issue of just energy transition, and also the issue of using the Africa, electricity single market. That is the, the continental power plan. And also, maybe at a second point is I don't know where it lies, the use of the critical energy transition minerals to really enhance, the renewable energy technology in this country. So how is it aligned? Have you really developed that strategy to be, customized under regional or national level to see that all those Agenda 2063 that focuses universal electricity for all, which is affordable and reliable? Over to you, Joseph.
Thank you very much, Chair. Again, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joseph Mwangi, working for the African Union Commission as a program manager for Geothermal Risk Mitigation Facility.
Can you hear him?
I don't know if you can hear me. Maybe
now I think they, okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. I'm saying my name is Joseph Mwangi, working for the ARGeo-C as a program manager for the Geothermal Risk Mitigation Facility. Maybe before I come to the question posed to me by the Chair, I just wish to, briefly tell you what we do within the Geothermal Risk Mitigation Facility. This is a program that was started back in 2012. We are about a decade old. And actually, I wish to appreciate Dr. Meseret because she is one of the people who worked in developing this program. And it was started from a request by the AU member states. Then it was 12 ministers from the Eastern Africa who came together and said, development of geothermal is extremely costly affair and very risky. By then, we hadn't had any development financial institutions that were willing to invest into geothermal. So AUC was asked to work with partners to mobilize resources from partners. And we, luckily or we, graciously, we got support from BMZ of Germany and our partners from the European Union and the UK by then. And GRMF was started mainly to de-risk early stages of geothermal development. What we do, we finance exploration, that is a surface study, up to 80% of eligible cost for the surface study. Then we support the exploration drilling, which we fund up to 40% of the eligible cost for the exploration drilling. And here I have to be specific that we usually support up to 3 full wells for the exploration drilling. We also support our member states with the infrastructure upgrade. If they are doing, the exploration drilling, they may require upgrade of access roads, they may require drilling of water. So we support up to 20% of the eligible cost for infrastructure upgrade. Currently, we have 13 beneficiary countries. I'm happy to announce that Malawi recently joined the program, so we have 13 beneficiary countries. And I had the PS from Mozambique saying that there's potential also for geothermal in Mozambique. So almost all your neighbors in the region are members of the GLMF. So we are hoping to get an application from Mozambique so that we can complete the map. I also want to say that, as a GLMF, we act as a catalyst because, this is a true testimonial from our developers. The projects that have so far benefited from the GLMF grant have easily, attracted, other financiers, either through, for grants or either for loans or equity investment, particularly for the private sector. So we are very proud as AUC and all stakeholders working for the GLMF because, few years ago, very few investors could even discuss about geothermal. It sounded too risky. At least now we have, several investors, even DFIs and, other form of financial institutions who've been asking or coming to the AUC asking for us for opportunities and wanting to know what kind of portfolio are we managing as they explore possibility of doing business. So we are very proud as a GLMF team because now we see a lot of interest for geothermal investment. Coming now closer to what the chairperson asked me about the energy transition, I want to say that for a couple of years, GLMF was focusing only on power generation. But we noted that some of our member states or some of the GLMF beneficiaries didn't have that high enthalpy, geothermal resources to generate electricity. A number of them tried in the application rounds, but unfortunately they could not qualify for power generation. So after discussion with our partners, our donor partners, we agreed that it was good to diversify what we offer as a GLMF. So in a bid to, to expand both technically and geographically, recently we started offering support for the direct use. We've completed the first application round where 5 applicants were awarded the GLMF grant, 2 of them in Kenya, 2 in Tanzania, and 1 in Rwanda. And we are happy because the kind of applications are very diverse. We talk of agricultural, applications for drying crops. We talk of industrial applications. We are also talking of recreation facilities, supporting tourism. So we are happy as GLMF because these ones are, direct use is coming to create jobs on the ground within very short time frame as compared to the power generation, which may take several years by the time you complete the first geothermal project. But for the direct use, we've seen it's coming to create jobs very quickly. And we are happy because GLMF HIT is contributing to the achievement of several UN SDGs. You talk of food security, you talk of industrialization. So maybe to answer you, Madam Chair, I wish to say that when we look at the, when we look at direct use, we feel this is coming very close to, to assisting in the energy transition, because some of these activities in the past used to rely heavily on the on the diesel or fossil fuels, but now with the availability of quickly exploring the geothermal resources, we are assisting in energy transition. Maybe, Madam Chair, before I hand over the mic back, I wish to say that within the African Union, we may have a different definition of energy transition from what other, intergovernmental institutions consider as energy transition. For us, one of the things we usually ask, although we highly subscribe to the agenda of energy transition, but one of the things that our member states have really been asking is you transition from one point to another. So for some countries that do not have access to energy, one may ask, what are you transitioning from where to where. So what we are preaching as a gospel within the African Union is on the energy access. That's what we really emphasize. So we are working with all our member states, all our partners to mobilize, as much resources as possible to give people access to energy. And along the way, we shall achieve energy transition, the global energy transition agenda, while everyone in the continent has access to power. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joseph. This is very interesting. So is it an intergovernmental team or task? What is this that, it is only for African? And is it attached also with your department to get a solution? Could you please elaborate that, please?
Yeah, just to elaborate, within the African Union Commission, we are guided by our member states. So we have, a committee called the Specialist Technical Committee. This is a committee of ministers. So it is our ministers who really emphasized that the continent should first, do all it takes to get access to energy. And along the way, as we push towards access to energy, then we shall achieve energy transition. We all know that, energy transition at the moment, it's kind of not by choice because the technology which will, quick transition are becoming cheaper and cheaper, especially wind and solar. So we are not really talking of ignoring that there's need for energy transition. We agree there's need for energy transition. However, our gospel that we are pushing, and whenever we are talking with all our donor partners, is in Africa, we still need to give access to people who don't have electricity, people who don't have access to clean cooking. Okay. Thank you.
That really sounds good. It is good to know. I think that even the countryside they are seeing now. I think now I will really give a chance now also to His Excellency. Today during this conference that we have reflected or indicated that there is now like the UNEP ARGeo program, which was really created every 2 years, such biennial conference, and also working on the risk mitigation, exploration, and others, is now no longer a project-based, and we transferred it now to the Africa Geothermal Association. And we are very happy, all of us, to know, Your Excellency, you really support that. But we really want to know, this Africa Geothermal Association is yours. Actually, you are Africans, it's yours. But it has a power, the integrated experts, the institution, just the house they have, the mechanism really to work with others should be strengthened. Of course, this is African Union has its own in terms of policy and others, but AGA will be a technical arm for that. So what is your expectation from that? Because it is good, I think, now the AGA member who are also now at the executive level, they would like to hear from you that what is your expectation, because the one purpose of the UNEP ARGeo was to meet the needs and expectation. They have to really serve the member states. So what is your really vision? What do you see from Africa Geothermal Association to really be part of, to bring a paradigm shift in geothermal, including renewable energy as a whole? Over to you, please.
First, I think it is a brilliant idea to allow the African Geothermal Association to take over from UNEP in the organization and management of these conferences going forward. But more importantly, in my view, the African Geothermal Association has got a central place, first and foremost in terms of providing a platform, common platform for African countries, okay? that have got interest in geothermal energy or that have got geothermal energy resources. Okay? Because that continental reach is important, first and foremost for benchmarking and also for pulling together resources. But let me hasten to add, even as I think and hope that the African Geothermal Association will continually play a leading role in this drive towards green energy on the continent.
Yeah.
You know, I still strongly believe that even when it comes to the financing of the geothermal energy development, we need some rallying force. And that's where it can actually play another role, which is quite important.
Wonderful.
You know, as we speak, it is clear that developing
It's not working? Yeah. There's another one.
Developing geothermal energy requires both time and financial resources.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, from exploration to drilling to actual generation of geothermal energy, it takes about average 7 to 10 years. It's quite a long time. And it's very expensive. That countries in Africa cannot be able to support from their domestic resources or from traditional loans, be they constitutional or not. And that's why in Kenya, for instance, we have now veered towards public-private partnerships, where we are focusing more on private capital to help us develop this energy through what we call build, operate, and transfer, a model. So Africa still requires concerted efforts towards supporting to be able to leverage on these resources for the benefit of its people. As a matter of fact, again, Madam, you know that Africa's emissions, carbon emissions, is just about 2 or 3%.
Exactly.
Yeah. Paltry is insignificant. So it behoves the international community, especially those nations that have been the cause, the bigger cause of this global warming, to give back, to apply what we would call affirmative action towards Africa. And therefore the AU, the United Nations, the international financial institutions need to come together and take some more practical steps towards establishing some fund to help us de-risk the geothermal fields. Yes, that's the only way this geothermal resource is going to be optimally utilized for the benefit of not only Africans, but also for the benefit of the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Really, you should clap this. If you remember, all of you, those who have been during the Africa Climate Summit this year or last year, I remember, one of the major issues is about getting finances, particularly for developing countries for Africa. So there, I think all African countries, but under the leadership of your President, Your Excellency, William Ruto, it was really clear that there will be a change of the global architecture of finance, for us, either the climate finance and or others. So bringing to that, I think one of the things, I think all ARGeo, the AGA members, this is a very good point that His Excellency raised. This will be one of the visions to be the technical arm of actually for the countries, how they can leverage finances, how can they leverage the capacity and skill, particularly when it comes to financing things. I think, thank you very much. I think this is like a takeaway that all countries should really take. And Your Excellency, this African Geothermal Association is constituted under the Kenyan law, where like the International Geothermal Association is under New Zealand law. And, there is no question that all the rest of the member countries got the benefit of, sharing best practices, experiences from KenGen, from GDC. They are very much advanced. And of course, they are really currently helping the member countries. So, but as AGA also, maybe I will come to African Union, how they can really align and use actually the experts. Actually, AGA means all the Africa geothermal, societies are experts in Africa. But it doesn't mean that we are excluding even others to be a member, but that is where we are. So getting solution, the innovative solutions for that, using the new technologies, the digital transformation and others, particularly bringing young people. They are full of solutions, young people. They are dynamic. The only thing they need is maybe, like me, all of us, we just share our wisdom with them in the Khalidi. So thank you, Your Excellency, for that. Honorable Permanent Secretary, and now, under your witness, when your Vice President was here, I think you witnessed now the transfer of the ARGeo project-based platform to actually to the matured African institution, which is now the Tanzanians. I think that's a good landmark. What are you expecting from them, and how you can really, do you think they can be really useful to your needs and your country needs and expectations?
First of all, thank you for qualifying the AGA, because you correctly said that it's now matured. And so we fully believe with its maturity that it's going to help not only Tanzania, but the rest of the African countries to graduate from the level where we are only at exploration and identifying sites, to start generating power from geothermal. On our part, we are very grateful for the support we received from UNEP, because all along UNEP has been there to support, especially at the early stages of our development, where we needed lots of capacity building support, but also providing opportunities for our engineers and other experts to go and train. And so at this stage, we think we need to move into the next level, where we are no longer only doing exploration, but we are now starting to develop the resource. This will also help us to start working closely with AGA to develop the institutional framework, policies, and other instruments which will help our countries to move in a more coordinated manner. For Tanzania, for example, we are at the stage where we want to see the first megawatt. Where we have been working bilaterally with our neighbors, Kenya, and our hope is that AGA will now step in and help all these African countries to share experience from one country to another, to share the technology which is already available within our countries, to, in a coordinated way, to access funding from different funding opportunities which are available. And so, yes, I believe that it's right time for AGA to start to show that its maturity is of help to the African countries in developing geothermal resources.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think this is really a clear direction and roadmap now for all the AGA members. And could you please let me hear from you also on that?
You know, it's too difficult for me, like ambassador and pharmacist, to participate on that meeting. Yeah. But it is science. And when we are talking about science, we can hear something. Just 2 days ago, which the Minister of Energy appointed me to represent him. Yeah. So you can understand that the really policy of my country, I can't tell you more. Yeah. But last year, we were in Kenya with my president, because I cover also Kenya, and Geothermal Association, Geothermal Institution, technically is under our agenda for cooperation between Kenya and Tanzania. We know they are very far than us, and we want to begin and how. But unfortunately, we would like to have our GPC that year, and we want to focus our focus for that, because most of the population has not electricity, and how we can develop the country without electricity, and how we can decarbonization on our. So we have to learn more with the countries who are already has beginning that new technology, and have South and South cooperation. And really, if we are talking about neighbors, because our neighbors there is there. And also, I'm very happy to hear from EU what they are planning. And I will request urgently to the Ministry of Energy to take contact with EU and Kenya and Tanzania and others. The 2 countries, I'm the ambassador, so it will be easy to move quickly and see and go to see how we can have a common plan for that matter. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
This is very good. Actually, you know, could you please applaud to him? You know, Ambassador, I think that this platform is like, you know, enhancing regional integration, cooperation. And then you went with your minister, you didn't go to Brussels or you didn't go to Canada. You went to Kenya to learn from their best practice. They know they are. You went to, these are the kind of, even UNEP itself, create a convening power, a platform, how you can really share best practices, experiences. You can see now, for example, KENGEN is now in Ethiopia drilling. KENGEN is in Djibouti. KENGEN is now in Mbeya. So this really, you know, that the issue of having now AGA is to strengthen, to enhance this close collaboration, the best experience. So these are, you know, your intervention really actually strengthen the need for regional cooperation, the need to really learn, you know, the South-South cooperation. And all those things is really important. Thank you very much. Can I have maybe from you, Burundi? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you also for UNEP for inviting Burundi to participate in this 10th African Rift System Conference in order to be aware about the steps of geothermal development. As Burundi is one country among the East African rift systems. I think we're supposed to move on together with other countries. And with African Geothermal Association, I think that we needed to be, or we needed to partner of that association, but there's one need or one concern, how our authority will know about that association in order to be involved and take a decision. And also, there is, I think there is a steering committee who is looking or who is dealing with geothermal activity. It will be better to invite other member states within the East African rift system in order to move on and have the common understanding in order to develop our geothermal energy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now you are in the next step, please. This is really a very good input, even for ARGA. Indeed, it is true. The governance mechanism, the operationalization mechanism has to be cleared out, though it is now it is legalized entity, but in terms of now operation at ground level, the governance and all the structure, I think, will be able to be described and also really guided by the member states and all other players. Honorable Permanent Secretary, please, from Mozambique, you have already the mic with you. Please go ahead. Thank you very much.
First, we have to really thank Tanzania, thank all of you again for inviting us. And as I said before, we came to learn, and we have to challenge ourselves as Mozambicans to have at least one geothermal power plant next 5 years. Why not? Now we have a new president, a new government. I think the agenda is the same. Energy for all and also clean energy. That is the agenda is not changing. We already approved energy transition strategy in Mozambique, and was launched last COP at Dubai. It's a very clear strategy, and we know at least where we can have immediately 20 megawatts power plant. According to our Atlas, Renewable Atlas study that we carried out 10 years ago, now we have to challenge ourselves to have to invite our colleagues from Kenya and the other countries to show us successful experiences, experts from Kenya and the other countries. We need to also to engage private sector, to partnership public and the private funds. We have energy fund. We can also engage to develop at least one. We took a long time to develop a wind power plant, but now next year we start wind power plant at Namasha, border with Eswatini. It's 130 megawatts. It was already financed, and next year we start. That's power plant. And same for geothermal. We don't have any plan, energy plant for geothermal, but I promise you we work hard. At least small one, where the potentials was identified. 30 province and Metangula, Nyasa province. We have to challenge ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think, Joseph, AUC, but focus now, how do you think that the African Union, having such kind of African Geothermal Association, you have the Geothermal Risk Mitigation Facility on that. What is your really view that to work and to use that expertise to enhance the benefit of the countries, to maximize, the benefit of countries. Please.
Thank you very much, Chair. As a GLMF, while we are focusing mainly on mobilizing financial resources and working on harmonization of regulatory frameworks and policies, there's still a big gap in terms of the technical, the technical capacity building for some of our member states. We all agree that countries like Kenya are very far ahead, but there are countries, the newcomers, that may not have, adequate technical capacity to develop geothermal. So we feel this is where AGA would really, fill that gap. And as the African Union, we would be very happy to work very closely with the Africa Geothermal Association, especially in terms of, institutionalizing the association to support them so that they can even be recognized within the AU policy organs as one of the institutions, as one of the knowledge partner for the AU. So this is a challenge I take upon myself, and I'll discuss it internally with AU, how we could, recognize AGA as one of our knowledge partner when it comes to geothermal issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think please join me applauding for all the panelists here. Before that, if you want to say something, either of you, these excellencies, and I think I can give a chance if you want to say something or you want to, yeah. Thank you very much once again. Please clap, again. And where is the photographer? I think...
Chair, if you may give me just a minute.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much. What is just a very important announcement I wish to pass across, that we are in the second round of application for GLMF HIT. We are currently receiving applications which will close on, I think it's 13th of November. So we are, inviting you, if you have an interesting geothermal project that you would wish to utilize direct use, to send an application. I also wish to make a very, I know it's weighted by many partners, about the GLMF Power new application round. We are happy to announce that our partners, our donor partners, have agreed with AUC request to launch GLMF Power application number 8 next year. So this is information that will keep you updated about the new application for GLMF Power. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Harvey. So our panelists, maybe you want to stand. Thank you very much. I have an announcement. You are all welcome to participate for dinner party at Johari Rotana Hotel, Post Dam, and starting from 6:30. So please, you are all invited for that. Please, all Kenyans, they want really to have a photo with their minister. Please go. You see how
Kenyans, come quickly.
Kenya, please.
The parallel sessions.
Now, I think we will start the parallel sessions. Please go, and I think we start that. And thank you very much for really coming and having this important discussion. We need all.
Kenyans, kind of come on stage.
But where was he? Why didn't he come? Oh, all these Kenyans. Wow. Wonderful. Wow.
Ndera wa mushina ministry